Giving all praises to the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachakodash. Double honors to the apostles, the bishops, and the elders at Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations as always to the elect. News and prophecy. All right, looking around the world, linking the things happening to the Holy Scriptures as we are at the end of Esau's world. All right, as the Scriptures say, wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. All right, and the strength of our salvation. All right, now's the time to root ourselves in the faith as our power is coming through for us. All right, marvel not, all right, at the proud talking of our enemy. All right, he is on his way out, although he is going to come down with great wrath. All right, although we're going to suffer persecution. All right, the salvation of the elect is very near, and many things are happening. All right, that point to that, as the scriptures say in 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter, the end will be associated with signs, all right, and effects. And these are all a result of biblical prophecy. No other philosophy, no other doctrine, all right, no other so-called truth is hidden like the Holy Scriptures in these latter days. Everything is pretty much dried up, and the only thing that's going to be left standing is this truth. As the Scriptures say, the Lord have set forth the apostles last, all right, as it were unto death. And we are a spectacle. You know, first they tried to ignore us, you know, then they laughed at us. Now everybody's taking, you know, notice, whether they're scoffing or mocking or, you know, stealing our points or just watching, you know, from afar. All right. This word, all right, the true biblical Israelites awakening has changed this world. And today I was thinking of doing a particular breakdown on a particular chapter until I saw this video. All right. And as you know, I do, you know, news and prophecies. And in yesterday's prophecy watch, news and prophecy, you know, there was some things that I said, and I was super tired, you know, but, you know, it still came out. But there was some things that I said that I just so happened to come across this beloved brother's video, GMS Barbadian disciple. Yeah. All right. The beloved brother in Barbados, subscribe to his page and be edified. All right. And as you can see, the title of this video, I should have never voted for Trump. Rome will not be healed. All right. And as I was watching this video, he has this channel up here where pretty much everything that I was going into, everything that I've been saying, everything that we've been saying, not me, is is coming out to be true. These Edomites are in regret. They're being confounded. All right. Trump and the talking point of making America great again. All right. It was a myth. This is why he's putting hell on Jake to make, you know, regular everyday Edomites feel good about, all right, the destructive position that they're in and how poor they are and how America, all right, and this whole concept of Edomite supremacy or white supremacy isn't benefiting them. Okay. Some of them just love to see niggas in so-called, you know, spics catch hell. So, you know, they're cheering Trump on. You got, you know, the MAGAs cheering on Trump, blowing up this boat in Venezuela, which was overkill. A small boat was supposedly headed somewhere with drugs, and they just blew it up. And now this is the new enemy. Now we got to watch out for, you know, and, you know, it's just funny to watch these Edomites. But I was checking out this video, so I went to the channel and I started looking at some of the videos, and, you know, here I am. And this is the thing, you know, I love watching the fall of my enemy. All right. As one demon once said, I'm so excited, I just can't hide it. All right. This is the book of Sirach. All right. Chapter 25 and 7. There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue. A man that have joy of his children, which you can't have joy of your children in this place. All you know, if they're in your life, all you do is worry, you know? This is hell, man. A man that have joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy. See, and that's what we're witnessing. We're witnessing our enemies be confounded. All right, as the scriptures say, rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. And this is what Trump was set up to do. He was set up so that you Edomites can rejoice. All right. And y'all were rejoicing. All right. But not even, close to 9 months in now. All right. The smiles are turning into frowns. Okay. These Edomites are through. Now I want to play this clip from this Eddie Griffith stand up. I'm not going to play it on the YouTube because I may get a copyright, but I wanted to just play it. The beloved brother from Charlotte, I'm a one, the priest sent it to me. And, Eddie Griffith, he goes off, but he be spot on certain things. But I want to play this clip from this stand up. Lord willing, y'all can hear it.
He opened his mouth. He told broke white people whatever they wanted to hear. That's how he got their vote. All trailer trash want to know is that they better than a nigga. Trump promising everything. I promise you're going to be better than a nigga. Trump said we going to be better than nigga. I'm be better than that Jigger nigga. I'm going to be better than that Diddy nigga. I'm going to be better than that Griffin nigga. Better than nigga. You ain't better than nigga yet, are you? And then he promised them a wall. Where y'all wall at, white folks? What happened to the wall? There's no wall. Because the wall ain't coming, you stupid motherfuckers.
So there you have it, and if you can tell the poorest, most decrepit Edomite male and woman that they're better than niggas, that'll make them feel good about their themselves. And the whole concept of, the Edomite so-called white greatness is they're trying to bring it back, and it's too late. So I'm going to play a few of these videos, and Lord willing, I can be straight to the point. I'm going to start with this one. Let's see here. Let's start here. I think this is the one. Yep.
I regret my vote. I never thought I'd say that.
Don't you just love it, man? All right, and this is off of B-Boy Reaction. Never heard of this channel until today. But there's a woman speaking. Yeah, I'm going to go to her. Who pretty much, she's going in, man. But let's go.
I regret my vote. I never thought I'd say that, but I regret my vote. I voted for Trump. And now, in the first few weeks of his presidency, thousands of people are losing their jobs. I lost my job. I was the director of operations of bear studies. For the last 4 years, we've been studying whether or not bears in fact fit in the woods. And now it's gone. It's all gone. What am I supposed to tell my family? What am I supposed to tell them? If you voted for Trump, I don't even know what to say. I said, fuck you. All the money being taken, all the jobs being lost.
You see, and the thing is, you Edomites are losing jobs. You Edomites benefited from DEI more than anybody. But as long as you could hear that niggas are getting ready to lose aid, you cheered it on. And this could be satire, but there's one coming up that ain't. But again, I regret voting for Trump. I don't know if he's, mocking the MAGAs, but either way it goes, the Edomite is at the end of the road, Jack. And this whole MAGA thing was a farce. Again, for you new people, let's go here, okay? Let's go here. In Latin. MAGA in Latin means what? Witch. Magician or sorcerer. MAGA is the feminine of magus, meaning magician or sorcerer. See that? And you all have been duped. Yesterday, I went into the psychological operation that has been waged on you American people, right?
Aided by technological advances and behavioral science, the US government has become a master manipulator of minds, perception, and belief, and agitator of the masses. As J. Edgar Hoover once observed, it is the function of mass agitation to exploit all the grievances, hopes, aspirations, prejudices, fears, and ideals of all the special groups that make up our society, social, religious, economic, racial, political. Stir them up. Set one against the other. Divide and conquer. That's the way to soften up a democracy. Here are just a few ways psychological warfare is being waged against the American people. Weaponizing violence. Recurring mass shootings, domestic unrest, and acts of terrorism traumatize the public, destabilize communities, and give the government greater pretext to crack down, lock down, and clamp down, all in the name of national security.
Yep.
Weaponizing surveillance and pre-crime. Digital surveillance, AI threat detection, and predictive policing have created a society in which everyone is watched, profiled, and potentially punished before any crime occurs.
But see, as long as you're waging war on Israelites, you MAGAs were for it. See? The whole DC thing, you know, the Baltimore, the California, the Chicago. But y'all didn't understand what this really, what y'all don't understand what's really going on, man. Y'all are at the end of the road, man. Y'all are being confounded, and we love it.
The government's war on crime has also veered into the realm of social media and technological entrapment, with government agents adopting fake social media identities and AI-created profile pictures in order to surveil, target, and capture potential suspects. It has all the markings of a digital panopticon optimized for psychological control. Weaponizing digital tools and censorship. Digital censorship is just the beginning. Tech giants, working with the government, now determine who can speak, bank, travel, or participate in society.
And this is what y'all cry for. See that? We'll get back to that. I got another video where I'll delve more into that, but
I don't know what to do.
Why, oh why do poor white people vote against themselves time
poor white people vote against themselves.
and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians, only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness.
There you go. So that's another psychological war, a psyop. Whiteness. There's no such thing.
Term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white,
And you all were able to point out DEI as just being those very people that she just named. Blacks, Latinos, and LGBT. But how about how many so-called white people, Edomite men and women, okay, that benefited from DEI? What about the veterans that lost out, all right, when they waged war on DEI? See? And we've been telling you this. Listening to her made me say, I got to do a video on this. All right. I'm pretty sure the elder Malcolm, I'm going to send it to him. He'll love this channel.
convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites.
Woo!
Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws.
And they've been putting hell on you poor whites. Even eugenics, all right, rooted out a lot of poor whites. But you bought into the pseudoscience. You buy into this whole racial superiority thing, but it's not benefiting you. Okay? Your elites have ran off with the blessing, and now you're just left with an American flag, a beer, and an empty box of pizza with just a half a piece of crust in there. All right, and a small corner of pepperoni. Jobs gone. Farms are gone. We're going to show you that. Farmers, you Edomite farmers are losing. Esau's losing. Remember, the Lord said he will put curses on our enemies. Let's get that. Let's get, man, there's so much. Let's get here. Let's get, I believe it's Deuteronomy 30. Deuteronomy 30:7. And the Lord thy God will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all of the curses that we under with now is you Edomites' turn. How much more when we get in our kingdom?
Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, you know, the usual scapegoats. Third, elites.
Did you hear that? They have convinced you that the biggest problem with this system is Pookie, Ray Ray, Tyrone, all right, Keisha, Neve, Demarie, Aiden, Caden, right? Anthony. Y'all were convinced that they are the biggest issue, and dealing with them means America will be made great again. Now, are they a problem? Absolutely. Okay, we a big part of our doctrine is cursing them out, but as we've been saying, that's the least of your worries. Your elites are the biggest. They're the ones poisoning your food. They're the ones what you got you hooked on psych meds. They're the ones that that pollute your water. They're the ones who got you trapped in this stupid education. They're the ones who got you all in debt. They're the ones who look at your gross versus your net on your paycheck. Is that Pookie and Ray Ray? Let's listen to that again. As a matter of fact, we going to start her all the way over. We like her.
What to do?
Why, oh why do poor white people vote against themselves time and time again? They vote for Trump and the other MAGA politicians only to have every promise broken, prices go up, social supports evaporate. Here's why. First, remember what I talked about recently, the psychological wage of whiteness. That term was coined by W.E. Du Bois to describe poor white folks being paid with social status rather than decent living conditions. They're convinced by the elites that they're better than black folks, better than immigrants, Latinos, LGBTQ folks. They're convinced that being white puts them in the same league as the elites.
And see, that's what this whole MAGA thing, because they needed something to, keep, the everyday Edomite pacified, and waging war on niggas and calling out, and waging war on the Latin tribes and waging war on Jake and calling out thugs. And, it made Esau feel good. They love to see Jake persecuted. Right. But look at their living conditions. Okay, you had Elon Musk, the pretty much said, let's make America white again. Let's make, the Edomite great again. All right. So you had an influx of Edomites on Twitter or X, Instagram. They're going back into that pseudoscience. They're bringing out the statistics. See, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee.
Of course, the elites know otherwise, but the poor whites buy it because they're grasping at straws. Second, they are convinced that the people they're supposedly better than are the big threat in their lives. Not the rich, not the corporations or the politicians, but immigrants, black folks, welfare queens, LGBTQ, criminals, the usual scapegoats. Third, elites promise protection to poor white folks. A politician comes along and says, I'll keep those people in their place, or I'll kick them out, or I'll lock them up, or more politely, I'll defend your values. They don't say, I'll make your life better. Well, they say it, they just don't mean it. They'll say, I'll make sure they don't get ahead of you. Fourth, they vote for the punishment, not the policy. When a law gets passed that slashes public housing or school funding or food aid, they think, good, that'll stop those lazy freeloaders. And they do some.
But you forget the biggest receiver of government aid are Edomites. Did you know that? The biggest receiver of government aid are Edomites. And if you want to go over even further, the biggest receiver of welfare is the small hat. Okay? Which your billions of your taxpaying dollars go to them. Go to Ukraine. Those are small hats too. And they're crying for more.
Mental gymnastics that make them believe it's worth losing those things for their own families in order to see those problematic Black people and immigrants and so forth being punished. It gets to a point where just seeing those guys being punished is reward enough.
Did not I say that yesterday? Just seeing them punished is a we sold you this guy. Hold on, let's pull him up. If I can find him. You know, you had that one guy, you know, clapping on Trump for, you know, the waging war. Hold up. Boom, here we go. This guy. Let's pull him up.
The criminals of Chicago are doing as much damage as they can before the Marines come in. What is this, a party or something? A party on a police car? That's ridiculous. How?
Specific group of officers.
Police can't stop any crime here. They're not allowed to.
63 tactical team.
I want to see what I'm trying to say. Okay. I got to see.
93 seconds. That's all it took from the traffic stop to his car searched and handcuffs locked around Lamorris Bell's wrists.
I felt violated and scared.
Violated and scared.
When officers stopped Desmond Northington for not activating his hazard lights while parked in a loading zone, he too was cuffed and put on the curb, his car searched. That escalated in just 60 seconds.
So my question is, where does the escalation come from in a traffic stop? Are police really out there brutalizing their hostile, progressive community, knowing it could cost them all their jobs the second this footage gets released? Or are they out there interacting with dangerous criminals who treat them like garbage and think they can get away with anything and deliberately escalate these situations?
You see that? This is a MAGA, right? Pretty sure he's a MAGA. Check out his channel. See, look, looters downtown Chicago, Venezuela, so forth. Trump's deportation army lands in Chicago. ICE empties, Amazon warehouse. See that? So they bought into the narrative. And again, not to say that the 2/3 of our people aren't a problem, but see, they've bought into it on a level to believe that this is the problem. This is what needs to be stopped, not Monsanto. All right. Not, all right, all of these unlawful decrees that are being passed on to people. All right. Not the pollution of the water. Okay. Not this decrepit educational system. Not this inept, wicked, demonic government. Not pedophile rings. Not the Catholic Church. Not the Christian Church. All right. But niggas. Like Eddie Griffin just said, Trump told you, all right, that you poor, because this dude is through. He's probably hooked on, psych meds and out of there himself. Probably gets a little bit of money from this YouTube channel, but overall, these Edomites are losing. Let's go back here.
Which is pretty sick. but that's how behavior works. Their housing, schools, and groceries are on the chopping block too, but they won that on Biden. Always a scapegoat. They get hit by the same policies they were told would punish the others, and they blame the wrong people. The system fails them, but they've been trained to blame the scapegoats, not the cause, which is the rich people, people they voted for. They think the problem is still those people, not the fact that they were personally manipulated by the people they voted for. They're basically saying, I'll take the hit as long as you don't help them, or worse, as long as you hurt them. That is the psychological wage Du Bois was talking about, the trade-off between material security for racial status. And that's a crying shame, folks. One share, like, save, and comment shows that you care about white people taking responsibility for racism in America. This work is important to me, and I'm going to keep doing it. If you want to support me, consider a donation of any size to coffee.com/Kelly Snyder. And yeah, spelling is important.
I was a Trump supporter. I don't know how long I can keep doing this.
You should have stopped years ago, but continue.
Construction company.
It's pretty low.
Fucking thing is getting done.
So here we are, in the midst of the consequences of our own actions. Got it. Continue.
This is what I get.
Yes.
This is what I fucking get. Nothing but white boys. Takes 4 days to do a one-day job.
Nothing but white boys, because they don't have the Northern Kingdom ain't there no more. Now shit ain't getting done, and we're finding out that the so-called white man is not this hard-working, great stud. All right, that he was supposed to be.
You might have fucked up. No, you 100% fucked up. But the sad thing is, the sad and horrible thing is that you only think you fucked up because it's directly affecting you. You don't care about the millions of other people that it's affecting in the United States.
Trying, I don't fucking care. America, we're struggling, man. We're dying every day, bro. We got here about another friend that blew his fucking head off. Another friend that fucking overdosed. Another friend that fucking did something stupid.
Oh, man.
We're very lonely, America. This is from a veteran. We're dying. We're
DEI fucked over the veterans.
fucking dying, dude. You can't just feed us pills and say, here's fucking $100 a month. Go. I don't care if I sound like a bitch.
I don't know how any of you guys are going and going and going. I know you gotta be at the same level of mental health as me. Every day it's something new between the fucking news and the fucking stupid Biden and stupid Trump. And this country's fucked. Every day we're spending more and more money. None of us are getting ahead. The rich people are the ones that are fucking getting ahead.
Damn.
I'm tired of struggling. I regret it because I needed these changes sooner. I needed the prices to go down sooner
It ain't gonna happen, baby.
so that I didn't drain out my bank accounts and go into crippling credit card debt, so that when I had an emergency, I had money set aside.
Through.
So when my son's glasses break, I can actually get him a new one.
You could watch the video.
Republican movement.
Hold on, let's hear Eve out.
And
So y'all voted red and now you're broke, mad, and confused. So let's talk about it. The young people who voted for Trump and the Republican movement, they are already regretting their vote. And I'm not even going to pretend to be surprised because I knew it would happen. And y'all got to understand, it's because this is always the play. See, a lot of young people didn't have the tools to really critically think about the impacts of what Trump's policies would have on their lives. And you know why? Because the American education system was never built for you to think critically. It was built to keep you just smart enough to pass a test, but not smart enough to question power. So when the propaganda machine started pumping, most of y'all didn't even know how to check that stuff to know what was factual and what was a lie. You didn't even know how to look past the shiny slogans, the memes, the TikToks, and actually ask real questions like, how does this policy impact me, my rent, my student loan, my future? And now,
Yep, it's just DEI. Our enemies are being confounded, man. Right? Again, and see, this we always bring it out. Revelation 13 and 11, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, two horns like a ham, two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. So the two horns like a lamb were used, all right, to pull you all into the very position that you're in now. Well, now you're getting ready to be faced, all right, with a collapsed economy, all right, and, you know, just being white, it's not going to save you, all right? And, you know, we know these, militia groups and, they're ready. They're ready for things to collapse because all they're going to do is point the finger at the poor. Some of them are going to storm, these government offices, but it's just going to be a bloodbath, man. And Jake is going to be left out to dry when they figure out this system was a farce, was a joke. Okay. Psalms 6 and 10. Let all my enemies be ashamed and sore vexed. Let them return and be ashamed suddenly. We're seeing it. Okay. Psalms 5 and 10. Destroy thou them, O power. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. Okay. How about you Jakes, you Anton Daniels of the world, who are MAGAs? You just wait.
Well, here you are, under this Trump-led regime, finding out the hard way that Republicans do not have your back. That same party that you thought was about freedom is deciding the books you can read now, what rights you have, and whether you can even afford to survive. And look, I get it. When you're young, it feels like political policies and government and all that stuff, it feels like it's just background noise. You think it's something for old people to just argue about, but you see, it is not just noise. It's your life, boo. And if you don't take this seriously, the folks who do take this seriously, that older generation that's been controlling everything forever, they're going to keep stacking the deck against you. So now my question is, now that you are living under the policies that you voted for, are you ready to wake up yet? Are you ready to stop treating government like a joke and start treating it like survival? Because until young people wake up, old people are going to keep cashing checks on
Well, the big beautiful
What the
bill
hell is she talking about? I get it, but
passed. Thank you, God. This country was getting way too fucking free. At least now the federal government can monitor and survey every single thing I do with AI and facial recognition and drones. Do you know how hard life has been without that? At least public funding is getting cut and healthcare is going to get streamlined.
she eating a fucking hot dog with ketchup. That's an 80s meal.
Which means less coverage than there already is. At least poor people will die faster.
Smoked sausage.
At least schools will finally be safer. No, not from guns. Those are still allowed in there, but at least they won't have to talk about diversity or black people anymore. At least asylum seekers will finally get fast-tracked to deportation. Yeah, bro, this is the safest country on earth, but only if you're born here. At least when my health problems are misdiagnosed, I can blame it on a computer rather than a person. At least rich people finally get to be richer. Oh my God, do you know how hard they've had it? At least the federal government has way more power than ever before because who the fuck wants to be free anyways? And finally, half the American workforce will finally be replaced by AI. Thank you, God. Who needs a living wage?
You need to get a salad, baby.
People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going.
So watch this video. I wanted to also play this one.
Hello, happy Labor Day weekend. It's my favorite time of the year where Republicans and Democrats are not in DC. They're back in their districts, and that means that Republicans actually have to face the consequences of their own actions. It's thrilling to see, and I have a bunch of clips here of Republicans getting booed, jeered at from their constituents, and having to actually answer some questions for once in their life. And one Republican actually entered the town hall early because he couldn't face the heat. So interesting. They're willing to do the bad thing, but they're not willing to talk to the people who vote them to power about the bad thing they did. Here is first a Republican getting heckled at their own town hall.
Despising people our country. And sir, you're laughing, it's not helping.
And then we have Ashley Hinson here, who barely made it 10 minutes into her town hall before she got called out for lying.
Thanks to tax cuts and higher wages.
Oh, they're telling the truth.
Stop lying! Stop lying! Stop lying! Stop lying! So I look forward to your Stop lying!
Real quick, I want to talk about your privacy because every click, every search, every move online is tracked, logged, and sold. You're so clearly upset. Are you in a relationship? Because anyone in a relationship knows that if someone is upset, one of the worst things you can do is pretend like everything's fine. It just makes it worse. But Ashley Hinson here apparently doesn't know how to make people feel better.
Lying. Stop lying. Stop lying.
Through.
Incredible. We also have Rep. Warren Davidson of Ohio. Ruby Red, Ohio. Used to be a swing state, now basically a MAGA hellhole. But here is his constituents upset with him about bragging about Doge, which was a total failure.
Earlier this year, I was able to visit Hungary and see a country where they were behind the Iron Curtain, and now they're literally have people from England and Germany going to Hungary for political asylum because they're crushing civil liberties in the United Kingdom and Germany.
I feel like I could meditate to the sound of people booing Republicans who are, for the first time in their entire lives, facing accountability. It is so healing. It lowers my blood pressure by a couple of points. It's better than most anything. It's everyone showing up to these things. So if you're watching this, you're in your 30s, you're in your 40s, you're even younger, we need you to show up because it is important that all generations fight back against this stuff. It can't just be reliant on the boomers.
See, this is what's getting ready to happen. We bring it out all the time. Right? This ain't over. We're going to sit this one out, Jake. All right? Second Esdras 15 and 14. The world and the people in it are doomed. GNT. The war that will bring their destruction is very near. Nations will arm themselves to fight against other nations. There will be great political turmoil, with one group trying to overpower another and gain control while ignoring the legitimate government. This is what's getting ready to happen. Okay?
So when you want to look at how do you get debts under control, look, the resolutions bill was our effort to do that. That was part of why President Trump worked with Elon Musk to launch Doge.
And Doge, they just took all kind of people got their jobs taken. All kind of people got misplaced. Had to go drive. If you want to keep your job, you're going to have to drive to another office. All right, 2 hours away. Okay? Edomites were pissed. I didn't fucking ask for this, man. But they voted for Trump.
And with respect to Doge, I want to say thanks to President Barack Obama for launching the U.S. Digital Service, which is the legal authority for
the left blames the right blames the left. Now, the concept of Doge was put in place by a policy under Barack Obama. All right, but it took off and really affected. Okay, which Obama was the one of the worst presidents the America has ever seen. Okay, both the left and the right are wicked. Okay.
U.S. Digital Service is what they're asking.
See, and this is what they do. When the right gets called out, they call out the left. When the left gets called out, they call out the right. Eventually, that psychological operation that was waged on these Edomites, the Lord is going to put a spirit on them to just rebel. All right, because see, these Edomites have a rulership mentality. They really bought into the concept of Edomite white supremacy. They bought into the pseudoscience, but now they're looking around. All right, and they're noticing, wait a minute, only the rich are, the ones that can really brag or boast in, white supremacy. I'm losing.
As Doge, but the actual statute that established the U.S. Digital Service came in the wake of healthcare.gov, which was a failure.
Oh my God. What a dick. All right, and as I said, we also have Barry Moore of Alabama, Ruby Red, Alabama, getting booed at. He left because he couldn't handle it. He couldn't take the heat.
Not getting due process.
False. Lies.
Oh, how could you not love this, man? I love this. I love it. I love it, man. Oh, man.
Shame.
He left. Like, fuck this. Wait a minute. Wait.
Bye, Felicia. It's just incredible.
I
It's
got to
incredible.
find
They
it.
can't handle this.
Oh man, dog.
Bye, Felicia. It's just incredible. It's incredible. They can't handle the slightest bit of pushback from their voters. Now, what's sad is that all the people who are showing up here, the folks who are leaving, the congressmen who've left there, they're not really going to face accountability in the ballot box because things are so gerrymandered, things are so polarized that Republicans will vote for people who aren't even looking out for them because they'd rather be tribal than actually vote for someone who wants to make things better.
None of them are making things better. See, this is where all of y'all are through. Like I was listening to the priest Pashai, the elder earlier. You know, him and the bro were going in, and they're like, you got some of these people, they bring out certain points, and it's good points they bring out, but you're gonna get the end all be all from the prophets. Okay, as we brought out yesterday in Jeremiah 51, and 7. I'll start at 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let everyone go into his own country, for her judgment reach unto heaven. Wait. Verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. How for her? Take balm for her. If so, she may be healed. This place ain't going to be healed, man. Okay. Jeremiah 51 and 41. How is Shishak taken? How is the praise of the whole earth surprised? How is Babylon become an astonishment among the nations? Everybody's looking at this place and laughing at you, man. Jeremiah 50 and 2. Declare ye among the nations, publish and set up a standard, publish and conceal not. Say, Babylon is taken, but all is confounded. Murdoch is broken in pieces. Her idols are confounded. Her images are broken in pieces. And all of these different gods and goddesses from the ancient Babylon are here today. And this is talking about modern day Babylon. So we're not here to conceal. We're here to publish that Babylon is getting ready to be taken, man. Not healed. Okay? Through. That brutal, wicked, demonic history you thought you was going to sweep under the rug, it's coming back to bite you in the ass, man.
Who wants to make things better? But one way that we can at least start to try to make things better is by showing up and letting them know that they're showing up. I'm so grateful those are showing up. Now, here is Rowan Davidson again, asked about why he would vote for the big, beautiful, ugly ass bill.
Why would you vote to pass the one big, beautiful bill when it raises the national debt to $3.4 trillion and hurts the poorest of Americans?
You don't see too many Jakes in there. Who you see up in there? Esau. We told you they gonna be the main ones that rebel. This is why they got them troops everywhere, because as they continue with this NWO and, Palantir, the Black Rock takeover, things are only going to get worse for the Americans, and they're going to eventually storm the streets. Okay? People will just go say, F it. They're going to stop paying their bills, rent. Okay? They're beating the shit out of the landlords. Okay? Then, all right, whenever this government looks bad, they bring about some false flag. Okay, you got the Epstein people coming out now. They just strike Venezuela. Okay, it's going to come to a point people are just going to figure it out and lose it, and this is where those robots are going to come in at.
One big beautiful bill is a imperfect bill, but it is beautiful. If we did not pass this bill, we would have faced a default on our debt. Is it acceptable?
Word about the debt. This thing raises the debt by nearly $3 trillion.
Almost everyone in the room, if you pay income taxes, would have had your taxes increased.
See, the big, beautiful bill is really 666. Okay? The lowercase b is a 6.
And I'd just like to know who is in the super high income tax bracket that gets tips? No tax on tips. No tax on income. No tax on Social Security. These things are big wins for America.
The no tax on tips thing doesn't last that long. Most people don't claim their tips for taxes, and the no tax on Social Security is frankly just not true. That's not in the bill. That's a lie. That's a lie. He's lying. He's lying. All right, let's go to one more clip. I'm kind of loving this, but I'm also like, oh. Let's see this. So when Warren Davidson was finished, he tried getting closing remarks, and people just started leaving.
I hope I'm going to be able to get to a lot more questions tonight. And if you know some of your neighbors that will really help out, you can give them credit or blame, whichever way you go. Very vocal tonight. I should be able to.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Through. All right. Through. Now we're going to jump to this one.
Oh, good evening to you. We begin tonight with hundreds of struggling Arkansas farmers pleading for emergency federal funding amid a farm economy crisis.
Channel 7 Danger Mobley attended a meeting between farmers and federal officials.
They wanted to do away with federal funding because niggas were getting it. The DE, you know, the blacks and wetbacks were getting everything. But they didn't realize those policies were going to affect them.
Earlier today in Brooklyn in northeast Arkansas, and has more tonight. Andrew.
Almost everything that could go wrong for Arkansas farmers did go wrong this year, and it's so bad that many are facing bankruptcy or even the closure of farms that have been passed down for generations. A dismal global market and plunging commodity prices mean there's little to no hope of breaking even for many farmers, even as sky-high input costs rise because of inflation and now tariffs. Not to mention bad weather earlier in the year.
This time last year.
Bad weather, tariffs. All this is a prophecy, man. As a matter of fact, let's get 2 Esdras 15. No. And dictation, I don't know what that is. 2 Esdras 15. And let's go to 11. But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, because this is the new Egypt. And I will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God shall bring upon it. They that till the ground, the farmers, shall mourn. Their seed shall fail through the blasting and hail, and with fearful constellation, storms and different weather patterns that are messing up farmers. See that? Let's get Jeremiah 50 and 16 in the NLT. Take from Babylon all those who plant crops. Send all the harvesters away, the northern kingdom. Okay? The laborers, the ones who are working and really keeping your fields up to par. The poor, the oppressed, the ones who will, you don't have to give any health care to. While y'all were cheering Trump on, your plug, all right, these restaurants, who's in the back cooking in these restaurants? Northern Kingdom. They're some of the best cooks on the earth. They can cook anything. See? They be in them kitchens. You be at a Elamite restaurant, Indian restaurant. Issachar's in the kitchen. All right? Venezuela's. Right? But the kick is they're illegal. So I'll do you a favor by allowing you to work. All right? And they have them there all goddamn day, giving them $10 an hour. Right? But you don't get no health care. All right? And if you get mad and rebel, I'll just tell on your ass. So that was a plug that these Edomite corporations and different companies were able to benefit off of. But now, the Northern Kingdom, they scared to leave the house, or they flee back home and got deported. Now you got to do the work. Now you got to pay somebody. So small businesses are suffering, not only from these terrorists, but from these policies that are kicking, all right, the tribes out. Take from Babylon all who plant crops. Send all the harvesters away. All right, because of the sword of the enemy, man. And the Lord hears the cry of our people who are in of the elect, man. Okay, let's get James. And you rich Edomites, you elites, you just wait till the Lord really hit you. Okay, right now he got y'all confused, but James 5:4. Behold, the hire of the laborers who have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth. Ye have lived in pleasure on the earth, and have been wanton, and have nourished your hearts as in the day of slaughter. Ye have condemned and killed the just, and he doth not resist you. So the Lord hears the cries of the elect, man, because we work these jobs. We're catching hell at these jobs, man. You know? And you know, our warfare is just about accomplished, man. The humiliation of Zion is just about up. See? Now you got farmers crying for welfare.
The rice price was about 40% higher than it is now. The inputs costs have gone up. So after a horrible year last year, where most farmers in Arkansas Delta lost money, this year's going to be worse.
Though President Trump's big, beautiful bill provided a much-needed update to safety net subsidies for farmers, they won't see those federal dollars until late next year, by which time some have projected that as many as 1/4 or even 1/3 of Arkansas farmers will face bankruptcy or be forced to leave the business amid the crisis.
And I tell you what, it ain't going to help you next year. It was a lie.
American ag economy is currently in. It's already taken its toll this year.
It don't take Israel next year to get aid or see benefits. It don't take Ukraine, time to get benefits and reap the benefits of policies.
And we made a decision to go out this year in the spring. So my son will not be the seventh generation on our farm.
5 of my customers have committed suicide.
5
Today,
5 of my customers have committed suicide. And look who's here. Look who's showing up to these, all right, local, government meetings. The niggas are at home, watching football, getting ready for the what's this? Is it Thursday night football tonight? I believe this is the beginning of the season. I don't know who plays, but niggas are at home chilling, man. Jake been catching hell.
Arkansas farmers gathered to share their struggles with staffers from the state's congressional delegation, pleading for Arkansas lawmakers on Capitol Hill and the governor to convince President Trump to provide emergency funding to help them make it to next year.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now.
Look at these Edomites, boy. Oh, I love it. Look at him. You know he voted for Trump. Look at him. Those eyes, man. And there's only so long you'll be able to point the finger at niggas. Eventually, these kind of Edomites are going to be storming and rebelling against the government, man.
We have to have ad hoc payments right now to make it through this year.
If there's no emergency funding this year, there will be 1 out of 3 farmers will file bankruptcy.
Their cries for help did not appear to fall on deaf ears.
We're going to take your message. We're going to get it back to D.C. We're going to do everything we can to get you the help you need.
Boy, who is this nigga? God damn. Well, America's in bad shape.
Do everything we can to get you the help you need.
Until the federal government steps in to save them, farmers have no one to turn to but God.
Farmers not being here, Lord. It's all about being here closer to thee than anything else on this earth.
White Jesus ain't gonna help y'all either.
Because we deal with your earth every day. We're hurting.
And this is why Trump played that Christian card, because he knew these type of people will fall for it. It ain't working. Our power got us amped up. Our power ain't falling, leaving us out to dry. Okay? Let's get a few more and I'm going to close it out. Hold up. Is that the one? Trump's America, no migrant workers to harvest the crops due to ICE raid on farms. Texas farmers back deportation instantly regretted as they're losing their farms. Again, we just read Jeremiah 50. Damn, nigga, stop. Take away from, in verse 16, take away from Babylon those who plant crops. Send all the harvesters away because of the sword of the enemy. Everyone will run away back to their own lands. As they're getting deported, leaving. Okay? Hold up. There's another one. Hold up. Let's get Joel 1 and 11. Despair, all you farmers, wail, all you vine growers, weep, because the wheat and barley, all the crops of the field are ruined. Let's get Joel 2. Or maybe 3. Is it 3 or is it 1? I believe it's 1. Hold up. Joel 1 and 16. Is not the meat cut off before our eyes? We got a group of people in rulership that hate natural cows and want to change them to go along with their green agenda. And is Trump rebuking that? No, he's meeting with the guy who's funding it. The gates of hell. Gil Bait, is not the meat cut off before our eyes? Yea, joy and gladness from the house of our power. The seed is rotten under their claws, and the garners are laid desolate. The barns are broken down, and the corn is withered. Corn is poisoned, man. Okay, that which is then is now. How do the beasts groan? The herd of the cattle is perplexed because they have no pasture. The flocks of the sheep are made desolate. So the again, farming is being what? Destroyed systematically because they want these corporations and different companies to be your only way to get food. It's really all by design. The seeds die on the parched ground. The grain crops fell. The barns stand empty. The granaries are abandoned.
This is the consequences when we chose the wrong direction. Oh my God. Yes. It is what it is. Make America great. Yeah, low prices.
This is breaking news. Texas farmers are sounding the alarm on this tariff war. And in more breaking news, nobody cares. Yeah, I don't know if it's just me or maybe it's some of you too, but as far as farmers sounding the alarm, I don't care. I have to admit, I don't care at all because the last time Donald Trump was president, 100,000 farmers across the country lost their farms. Yeah. So overwhelmingly, farmers voted for this man again, knowing full well of his history the last time he was president. So from me to you, farmers, I don't care. I don't care how bad things get for you. I don't care if you lose your farm. I don't care if you, I don't care. At least I don't care to hear about it. I really don't. Because this is exactly what you voted for.
But folks, these are alarm bells ringing for the entire United States. And our government is not listening. Overnight, multiple farms in the state of Texas completely shut down. And the reason for this shutdown was because they have lost almost 100% of their workforce. Now, we know this is the result of the immigration raids and stricter enforcement, but the ripple effect is going to be felt all the way across this country. You've got crops that are rotting in the fields. You have livestock that is not being attended to at all. And that takes a lot of personnel. And we're talking, so now we're getting every area of food to include meat. And the communities that surround these farms, those businesses and those people who depend on the income from these farms, it's creating disasters for small communities in Texas. Now, this is not stopping at Texas farms. This is going to end up all the way across America, especially in the breadbasket, the middle of the nation, because they have tons of immigrant help. But folks, the alarm bells are ringing. Your food on your plate is being affected. So you got to think about it. It won't be soon until either prices go ridiculous.
The Rio Grande Valley, they produce many crops needed around.
Immigrants, our slaves, are not showing up to pick up the crops on farms in Texas.
The country, such as grapefruit, corn, citrus, oranges, all the vegetables, tomatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions are all grown here. And guess what? The undocumented workers are not showing up there. They're not showing up here in Florida, and they're not showing up in California. Now, I can hear you all say, you don't care. You're glad they're getting them. They're breaking the law, number one. They are criminals. They're not criminals. They are violating a civil violation, which is a fine or a penalty. It is not criminal, unlike the felon in the White House. That's a criminal. You will be complaining when you see no fruit, vegetables, and other crops in our grocery stores to eat. You will.
Let's get Isaiah 19. How can we forget that? Isaiah 19:2. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. Verse 4, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord, a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. And the water shall fail from sea to sea, and the rivers shall be wasted and dried up, and they shall turn the rivers far away, and the brooks of defense shall be emptied and dried up. The reeds and flags shall wither, paper reeds by the brooks, the paper reeds by the brooks, in the mouth of brooks, and everything sown by the brooks shall wither and be driven away and be no more. See, and that goes into the greenery, your fruit, your produce. Okay, it's all gonna be dried up. The fishers shall mourn, and all they that cast angle into the brook shall lament. And they that spread nets upon the water shall anguish. Moreover, they that work and find flax, and they that weave network shall be confounded. Okay. Verse 15, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the hair to tail branch or rush may do.
Will care when you see the prices escalate even higher. Isn't that the reason y'all supposedly voted for Trump? Because he was going to bring the prices down, and y'all could only complain and complain about everything under Biden. I don't hear y'all complaining about these out of control prices anymore that we continue to see everywhere thanks to Donald Trump. And all the prices that we've seen go up because of the trade deals or no trade deals and the tariff.
Yeah.
I like salad, y'all. I mean, what we gonna do? I'm not going out there. Y'all should have left them folks alone. Now look at us. We already overweight, out of shape, high blood pressure. Now we ain't got no vegetables. I am just waiting on MAGA to report to the fields. It's your turn.
Yeah, go work.
Reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up, and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers.
So we'll let the great white man go, because remember, y'all were complaining about them taking your jobs. So go work, boy.
Not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste if there's nobody picking these crops when they're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes to die of strictly processed foods.
Farms in deep red Texas are shut down, and Donald Trump is the reason. Now, as you know, Donald Trump has shifted ICE from focusing on criminal immigrants to going after easier targets such as job sites to pump his numbers up. But farms are hurting because of this, as many of their workers are either being deported or not showing up for fear of being caught up in these raids. And because of this, they're essentially shut down and no work can be done. Just take a listen to one farmer.
3 weeks, it started to slow, but this last week or so has been huge. That's when it's like 0 people wanting to come out. And
yeah, 0 people. 0 people going to work the farms. And while, yes, these farmers are in the find out phase, we're all going to be in it. Because they're talking that our food supply is going to be shut down or have major interruptions. And it's not just Texas. It's California and Washington. We are finding out that, yes, immigrants do help the American economy. Immigrants are part of the American fabric. We just didn't realize it till it was too late.
Contrary to popular belief, whatever condescending fairy tales you may have been spoon-fed, you can in fact mess with Texas. The bumper sticker was always more slogan than law, really. A swaggering bluff shouted over Lone Star beer and barbecue smoke. And now it has been revealed as nothing but a cheap shot of bravado. Because when the orange bronze devil made a phone call, every last one of these blithering Republican idiots came crawling on hands and knees. They won't fight. They won't resist. They won't even
Well,
think.
there you go. All right. It's you know, you can watch this video. You know, I subscribed. We gonna eat off this. All right.
The United States is losing power very noticeably under Donald Trump, and this is causing a decline in the country that I fear may not be recoverable until we really get a change at the top. You know, when we talk about how empires fall and how superpowers die, it's often not with a war. It's with a handshake between your old friends and your enemies. And I want to explain that. If you've been wondering whether the United States is still the world's dominant superpower under Donald Trump, it appears that the answer is no. Because while Donald Trump was busy cozying up to authoritarians, slapping tariffs on allies, and by the way, being missing for 6 days, which we will get to in a moment, the rest of the world has been forming new alliances, and they don't seem to need us anymore. We saw this during Donald Trump's first term as the United States was increasingly excluded from important climate change discussions and other aspects of global governance because Donald Trump just wasn't worth even including. We now are starting to see more of the same. In China, something happened that really should not send a tingle down your leg, but send a chill down your spine, which is that if you're still clinging to the idea of American global leadership, Chinese President Xi, Russian President Putin, and Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the leaders of China, Russia, and India, they held hands, literally, shared laughs, embraced at the largest ever Shanghai Cooperation Summit. This was not just a photo op. It was a signal of we've got each other. We don't need Trump. We don't need the United States. And the symbolism is brutal because Putin, who after meeting with Trump, conceding nothing, some people said Trump was cucked figuratively. I would never use language like that, but some people are out there saying that. After that, Putin went and dropped even more bombs. Clearly doesn't care what Trump says to him. And then Putin meets with Modi, took a joyride in Putin's limo, Modi did, and they are bypassing Trump figuratively and literally. Why is this happening? Trump's chaos, Trump's cartoonish nature. The US puts tariffs on India for continuing to buy Russian oil. So India moves closer to China. China, its longtime rival, and joins what's being called an axis of upheaval that includes Iran, Turkey, to some degree, Belarus, and others.
Turkey, Iran, does not that reek of Ezekiel 38? Y'all go respect the prophets sooner or later.
China,
y'all go respect Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai.
That is filling the power vacuum. She has announced a new development bank, a global energy cooperation platform, has opened access to China's GPS alternative. And so they are replacing American systems technologically. They are replacing American leadership ideologically. They are replacing American dominance economically as well. And the biggest blow to the US from all of this is that countries are listening. This alliance now includes 27 countries in Central Asia, Southeast Asia, the Middle East. And the message from Xi is the United States under Trump is more of a relic from the old world, not the Cold War, the Cold War, from the old world. And China says, hey, we're going to offer a more multilateral, fair system. It's not American-led. The US can't come in and just throw its weight around. And for Trump, that may be more literal than figurative. And Trump is saying, oh, this US-India relationship was a one-sided disaster. Okay, well, India has other options. You really can't punch your allies in the face.
See, India is no longer just that agricultural, after World War II, I believe India, they was always just a agricultural, but now they got missiles. Now they anteed up. So,
and expect them to stick around. And even Putin's Ukraine summit with Trump, it was supposedly a peace effort. It was immediately debriefed to Xi. And it made it clear that the back channels here don't put the United States in the privileged, powerful position. Now you've got China and Russia pushing to reform the IMF and to reform the World Bank. You've got them rejecting Western sanctions and saying this is neocolonialism. We're going to do our own system of global governance. And they're doing it with momentum. We have Trump missing for 6 days,
posting angry rants about handshakes on Truth Central, and the United States is getting boxed out. What's Trump doing? Deploying federal troops to DC, putting soldiers on our own streets. It's like a collapsing regime trying to keep its grip on power. That's not what stability looks like. If you're in some other country, right? Not Russia, China, not the country, India, the countries we're talking about here. If you're just in, France, the UK, Italy, wherever, and you look and you see, okay, on the one hand, you've got Russia, India, China, Turkey to some degree, other countries making their own alliances and getting completely decoupled from the United States. And what's the US doing? They've militarized their streets. Trump, it's not clear what's going on with Trump's health. You don't look at that and go, oh, I really am drawn to what's happening in the United States. You say, at minimum, I'm not drawn to the US, and probably you're drawn to this new global alliance that is growing. So, we've got the military parades and the whole thing. It's not impressing global powers. There is the idea of whether we are marching towards a funeral procession for American leadership and seeing a global realignment. And if we keep pretending that this is just about optics, we're going to wake up one day, probably not that long from now, to be frank, and say, what happened? The world has moved on from the...
It's going to be destruction. So Jeremiah 51:44, 144, call hello, Yahweh Shem Shai. I will punish Baal in Babylon, and I will bring forth out of his mouth that which he swallowed up, and the nations shall not flow together any more unto him. Yea, the wall of Babylon shall fall. My people, go ye out of the midst of her, and deliver ye every man his soul from the fierce anger of the Lord. Repent. Okay? Turn from wickedness, flee from idol worship, and lest your heart faint. And ye fear for the rumor that shall be heard in the land, for rumor shall come 1 year, and after that in another year, another rumor, and then violence in the land, and ruler against ruler. That's what's getting ready to happen. Repent before it's too late. Therefore, behold, the days come that I will do judgment upon the graven images of Babylon, and her whole land shall be confounded, and her slain shall fall in the midst of her. Okay? Verse 49. Man. 48. And then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon, for the spoiler shall come unto her from the north, and that's Russia. And they got their gang with them, said the Lord. As Babylon have caused the slain of Israel to fall, so Babylon shall fall. All right. The slain of all the earth. All right. Hopefully y'all edified on to the next. Shalom.